Playboi Carti was an outcast. Once the emblem for skaters, punk rockers, and so-called weird kids, his music was a dividing line in hip-hop. A half-decade ago, playing songs like Flatbed Freestyle or At Me on the Aux would have gotten you laughed at. In an era dominated by commercial street rappers such as Lil Baby and Polo G, Carti stood alone, unapologetically weird and impossibly misunderstood. Fast forward to 2024, Whole Lotta Red is canonized as the defining trap album of the decade. The rage sound Carti pioneered with his label is now the blueprint for a new wave of rap, with artists like The Weeknd, Kanye, Travis Scott, and Camila Cabello clamoring for his magic touch. His fanbase, unhinged and undeterred, willing to go to war online or even in real life to defend his name. Many of the street rappers who dominated the late 2010s have faded as Carti's influence has skyrocketed. What was once dismissed as weird is now the epitome of cool, while the conventional has begun to feel outdated and, ironically, out of place. Yet, despite his dominance, Carti remains a shadowy figure, and his long-awaited album, I Am Music, is still the year's greatest mystery. Playboi Carti's story is one of rebellion, reinvention, and reckoning. It's a tale of broken friendships, unchecked ego, and a relentless march towards cultural immortality. How did the most divisive rapper of his time flip the script, turning critics into believers and fans into disciples? This is the story of Playboi Carti. This is the story of an artist who reshaped hip-hop forever and on his own terms. This is Beyond the Record. Playboi Carti's rise isn't just another story of a rapper's come-up. It's a tale of transformation, resilience, and undeniable influence. Whether you've been a fan since his SoundCloud beginnings or you're just now catching on to his impact, Carti's journey represents a cultural shift we've all witnessed in real time. Beneath the viral moments, headlines, and controversies lies a deeper narrative, a story of how Jordan Carter, an ambitious kid from Atlanta, built an empire armed with little more than a mic and a dream. Let's dive into the roots of his journey, exploring the people, risks, and vision that shaped Playboi Carti into the enigmatic icon he is today. Before TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram were dominated by Carti's music and influence, his brand found its first home on SoundCloud. Though the scene and platform has evolved enormously, back then, SoundCloud was raw, chaotic, and electric, a tight-knit yet endless community that fostered creativity and connection. If you were there during SoundCloud's golden age, you know the feeling. Discovering tracks like Broke Boy or Fetty felt like unearthing hidden treasure, and sharing them with friends felt like swapping digital trading cards. Each new track was a spark, a moment that defined the rise of internet-era rap. In the case of Carti, he wasn't just making music, he was creating moments to define a generation of internet-era rap fans. As Fetty gained traction in the underground, Carti's recognition grew by the day. The song marked a pivotal moment in his young career, a cosign from the underground heavyweights that solidified his standing. Houston's Maxo Cream, a southern hip-hop mainstay known for his gritty mixtapes, and Dash, an ASAP Mob affiliate with collaborations alongside Mac Miller, Vince Staples, Earl Sweatshirt, and Boldy James, lent their names to Fetty. Fetty wasn't just another hit, it was a seal of approval from the underground elite. It signaled to the scene that Carti was more than just a rising artist, he was a force to watch. Leading up to this, Carti had been paying his dues, getting his name out there more and more by the day. Grinding tirelessly to make his name known, he was slowly inching closer to a breakthrough with every passing day. After recording, releasing, and deleting dozens of tracks early in his career, he was finally piecing together something enduring, a foundation for a legendary run. Songs like Heavy, Holyfield, Talk, and Lost started gaining traction, hinting at the wave he was building. He saw the growing numbers and kept pushing forward. Tracks like Pray For Me, By Myself / No Help, and Smash continued to elevate his upward trajectory, solidifying his place as one to watch. What made Carti stand out wasn't just his music, it was the unique energy he carried. While many artists of that era relied on attention-grabbing gimmicks or trend-chasing to stay relevant, Carti broke free from that mold and took his career to unimaginable heights. As one of the most influential figures for the new generation, it's only natural to wonder, who influenced him? How did he initially discover his sound? Who guided him on the path that led him to where he is today? To answer those questions, we need to go back a little further. Imagine being in the Atlanta underground scene in the mid-2010s, a place brimming with raw talent and unfiltered creativity. House parties, car shows, and fashion pop-ups were the lifeblood of this vibrant culture, serving as networking hubs for aspiring artists. This was the world where Carti cut his teeth. Despite possessing the potential for greatness, he had to learn how to harness it. Before Opium, before the blockbuster collaborations, before the cosigns from industry giants, there was Alpha Records. Under the guidance of Father, the label's visionary leader, and Ethereal, a production wizard, Carti wasn't just making music, he was shaping a sound that would transcend trends. Tracks like Mercedes and Beef weren't merely songs, they were milestones, laying the foundation for an artist poised to redefine modern rap. Carti's versatility was undeniable, seamlessly blending dark, hard-hitting beats rooted in Atlanta's gritty sound with hypnotic, ambient production inspired by SoundCloud's experimental pioneers. Tracks like Freestyle for the People and How Could I Worry further solidified his growing reputation. As his name began to echo through Atlanta's underground, Carti performed at house parties and expanded his connections. His passion for thrifting, cultivated since childhood, also became a key part of his identity, helping him gain recognition in the fashion scene and indirectly attracting more fans. At the time, it seemed like Awful Records was on the cusp of dominating the underground, with Carti positioned as its breakout star. But just as things were about to become official, the unexpected happened. A pivotal moment changed the trajectory of Carti's career and the fate of Awful Records. Just as Father and the crew were finalizing contracts to solidify their collective as an official label, the unthinkable happened. News broke that their star pupil had been whisked away to New York by none other than fashion mogul Ian Connor and the ASAP mob. With the hype Carti was building in early 2015, it was inevitable that he'd receive major attention from the industry. One of the key figures tied to Carti's ascent is Ian Connor, a fashion influencer and designer that had become pedestalized by the youth as social media exploded. Known for his ventures in modeling and styling celebrities, Connor had an eye for spotting the next big thing, and he saw it in the young Atlanta artist. Around the same time, A$AP Rocky, a cultural powerhouse in both music and fashion, also took an interest in Carti. Rocky saw a reflection of himself in the budding artist, someone who could reshape the cultural landscape by seamlessly blending music and style, building their rise from the ground up. The parallels were undeniable, making their connection feel inevitable. Leaving the people who nurtured your growth is never easy, but sometimes evolution demands difficult choices. For Carti, stepping away from Awful Records wasn't about turning his back on those who had supported him. It was about daring to bet on himself and seizing an opportunity that could catapult him to the next level. While fans often joke about Carti's tendency to move from click to click, it's a natural progression in the music industry as an artist's status rise. When Ian Connor and A$AP Mob came calling, it wasn't just a career decision, it was an entry into a much larger world. Imagine being a young artist with the world at your feet, knowing that every choice could alter your destiny. For Carti, this wasn't merely a move to New York, it was a leap of faith, a gamble on his potential that could either make or break everything he had dreamed of and worked for. In 2016, Carti began closely affiliating with A$AP Mob, watching his status soar despite still lacking a full-length project. Longtime followers knew he had been grinding to get to this point, but to new fans drawn to the buzz, he was a mystery. A couple dozen tracks on SoundCloud, no chart-topping singles, and no mainstream accolades, yet Carti was everywhere. His music was gaining traction, his Instagram posts were flooded with likes, and his presence in the comment section of countless YouTube videos hinted at an undeniable wave of momentum. Even in the early stages of his rise, Carti was an anomaly. Like many artists from the SoundCloud era, his ascension was met with as much backlash as it was support. Critics, especially older hip-hop fans, were skeptical of the new wave of music and aesthetics championed by the youth. This generational divide placed Carti and his peers under intense scrutiny, with their styles labeled as shallowy or gimmicky. Yet, for every critic, there were equally fervent fans and influential artists forcing a path open for this new sound to flourish, paving the way for Carti and his peers to shatter the glass ceiling. One pivotal moment that defined the SoundCloud era came courtesy of A$AP Rocky's YouTube channel. During the mob's Wavy Wednesdays run, they released What?, the now iconic, most well-known collaboration between Playboi Carti and Uno the Activist. The two were more than just collaborators, they were childhood friends who grew up calling each other family. Their mutual influences, ranging from legends like Lil Wayne, Future, Young Thug, and Space Ghost Perp, shaped their unique styles. Right alongside them was another longtime friend, Thousand Band Fawny. Together, they were Splur Gang. The trio of Carti, Fawny, and Uno was crafting timeless tracks, both individually and collaboratively. Songs like Lingo, View, What, and Splur Gang offered a glimpse into the potential of their creative synergy. Despite not having hit their prime yet, they were consistently leveling up, musically and in popularity. As 2017 approached, the trio was gearing up for their debut commercial releases, aiming to outshine their earlier buzz with a new wave of impact. The tracks they created during this formative era still hold a special place in the hearts of diehard fans, evoking waves of nostalgia whenever they resurface in playlists. Yet, as much as their chemistry and collaboration brought them success, the spotlight ultimately fractured their friendship, and seemingly for good. Bloody Dior, Bloody Osiris, Uno, and Carti were once close friends, moving in sync as up-and-coming stars in their respective fields. However, tensions arose. A falling out between Dior and Uno, combined with Fawny's issues with Dior's affiliate Lil Yachty, created a complicated dynamic. While Uno and Fani had been integral to Carti's come up, it became evident that navigating the industry required aligning with the right people at the right time. Carti faced a difficult choice and began to prioritize his own path. Even before these fractures, questions about Carti's allegiances had already emerged. Notably, during the height of the ASAP Mob and Raider Clan beef, Carti openly sided with Raider Clan and Space Ghost Perp. SGP's influence on Carti's style, especially his embrace of the dark, vampiric aesthetic, remains undeniable to this day. Yet, as Carti's environment and popularity shifted, so did his priorities. By the time he aligned with ASAP Mob and Ian Connor, his tune had changed. He began distancing himself from the past, focusing on the rising anticipation for his debut mixtape. This wasn't simply a case of moving from one collective to another, like his transition from Alpha Records to ASAP Mob. It felt deeper. Old friends and fans began to sense Carti's eagerness to leave behind the origins of his journey, creating a growing divide. Adding fuel to the fire, Mexico Dro, one of Carti's key producers and a pioneer of the ethereal beats that defined his sound, publicly severed ties. Frustrated with Carti using his beats without proper credit or compensation, Mexico Dro repeatedly dissed him, leaving Carti in a precarious position without one of his core collaborators. Despite these challenges, a new opportunity emerged, one that would shift the trajectory of Carti's career forever and redefine his sound to a whole new world. Emerging at the forefront of the SoundCloud era, Pierre Bourne introduced a fresh, innovative sound that would become the cornerstone of Carti's career. Known for his video game-inspired beats, Pierre's production arrived at the perfect moment, captivating the underground scene and providing the foundation for some of Carti's most iconic tracks. It's impossible to think of Magnolia without hearing Pierre's signature producer tag echoing in the background. Their chemistry was undeniable, creating music that felt simultaneously timeless and futuristic. These collaborations, driven by mutual belief and creativity, transformed Carti's music into a cultural phenomenon. Along with Pierre, Rocky, and Ian Connor, Carti's meteoric rise was driven by his deep connection with one key artist, Lil Uzi Vert. Carti and Uzi's bond throughout 2016 and 2017 became a defining partnership, even brotherhood, with the two appearing inseparable across music videos, performances, and interviews. Their collaborative energy was magnetic, with their brand as a duo nearly as powerful as their individual trajectories. In the coming years, Carti and Uzi continued to thrive, their synergy fueling endless speculation and excitement. A canceled joint tour and whispers of a collab album, 1629, kept fans on edge, as their complementary styles solidified them as leaders of rap's new generation. Both artists drew fans to their hypnotic flows and forward-thinking production, forging paths that elevated them above certain fleeting trends of the SoundCloud era. With the releases of Love is Rage 2 and Die Lit, their status was cemented. Yet, as their careers soared, so did the space between them, with public interactions dwindling and rumors of distance casting uncertainty on the future of their collaboration. Throughout 2019 and 2020, Carti withdrew even further from the public eye, retreating to focus on crafting his next album, Whole Lotta Red. With his previous album Die Lit reshaping the trap sound, Carti was determined to push boundaries once again, seeking to create another revolutionary body of work. In the time between Die Lit and WLR, he continued his collaborations with Pierre Bourne, while also enlisting powerhouse producers like Metro Boomin, Jetson Made, and Southside. Alongside them was a dedicated team of lesser-known creatives who were instrumental in shaping Carti's evolving sound. When you think of Carti's music, the first thing that comes to mind is likely his voice, a tool he's mastered not just for delivering lyrics but for creating an atmosphere. It's not about what he says, but how he says it. In early tracks like Broke Boy, his sound was raw and brash, mirroring the chaos of the SoundCloud era. But as Carti matured as an artist, his voice transformed into something far more dynamic. Carti figured out how to turn his vocals into an instrument, bending, distorting, and layering them over beats that felt like they existed outside of time, ethereal yet grounded, like a dreamscape or a vivid nightmare. Albums like Die Lit and Whole Lotta Red weren't just collections of songs, they were fully realized worlds, complete with their own energy, rules, and visual aesthetics. This ability to construct entire universes through his music has cemented Carti as one of rap's most enigmatic figures. He doesn't just create tracks, he builds experiences. The journey to the fully realized version of Whole Lotta Red was anything but smooth, marked by delays, leaks, and a turbulent creative process. The multiple versions of WLR that surfaced unofficially during its development included tracks that have since become cult classics among Carti's core fans. This period, often associated with his blonde hair era, captured a wild and unrestrained energy, a reflection of Carti's heavy drug use at the time. On his leaked verse for Yayo with Young Lean, Carti hauntingly raps, "I've been on opium for the last 10 days, over a ghostly white armor beat, his delivery raw and almost pleading. These songs emerged from a haze of indulgence as Carti experimented with opiates and ventured deeper into his chaotic persona. Fans were not just spectators, they were invested, even concerned, as sightings and photos of Carti during this era painted a worrying picture of his health. But the mystery and anticipation around Whole Lotta Red only grew. Rumors swirled that Carti was leaking his own music to gauge fan reactions, a theory later confirmed by Carti himself through a pinned comment on his secondary Instagram account. This bold, unconventional strategy created the frenzy among fans, who cherished these leaks as gems from Carti's most experimental phase yet. Tracks like Skeleton, Cancun, and Neon became instant fan favorites, spreading like wildfire across the internet. At a 2019 performance, Carti's surprise that the audience singing along to the unreleased Neon was palpable as he exclaimed,
"How the fuck y'all niggas know that song?"
This era was defined by uncertainty, excitement, and chaos, as fans waited for Carti's most revolutionary work to materialize. After endless speculation, Whole Lotta Red finally arrived on Christmas Day 2020, in a year marked by global upheaval. It wasn't just an album, it was a long-awaited gift to his fans, a defiant statement, and a project that changed everything forever. Art Dealer, Richie South, Gabe, and Filthy all played pivotal roles in pushing Carti's music into uncharted territory. Whole Lotta Red was nothing like anyone anticipated from a hip-hop release, much less from Playboi Carti of all people. The album was unapologetically experimental, blending buzzing synthesizers and eerie horror samples into the chaotic soundtrack of a cinematic mosh pit. With Kanye West's executive productions during the project, Whole Lotta Red was abrasive and moody, swinging unpredictably between peaks and valleys of energy. The release shocked the system and, unsurprisingly, faced intense backlash from fans who had been waiting years for something entirely different. But perhaps that was the point. Whole Lotta Red wasn't designed to meet expectations, it was made to redefine them. WLR was a statement, a challenge for both Carti and his audience. Fans had clamored for reruns of cloud rap and plug beats, but Carti delivered a volatile blend of punk, trap, and rage that forced them to confront the future rather than dwell on the past. He wasn't interested in nostalgia, he was charting a new course. The backlash may have been deafening initially, but the album's long-lasting impact echoes even louder. True innovation isn't always comfortable. It's bold, messy, and unapologetic, and that is exactly what Whole Lotta Red was. Since the release of Whole Lotta Red, the ripple effects have been undeniable. Artists from NBA Youngboy to DaBaby and Soulja Boy have embraced EDM-infused trap beats, a sound now known as rage among rap fans. Even more striking is its dominance in the underground scene, where countless artists began crafting their own takes on rage beats as the album's influence exploded across social media. The impact of Whole Lotta Red elevated Carti's artistry and cemented his place in a higher echelon of cultural influence. It wasn't just an album, it was a revolution in sound, a moment that left the rest of the industry scrambling to catch up. For Carti, the only direction was toward even greater heights. During the recording of Whole Lotta Red, Carti began to expand his influence beyond his own music, laying the groundwork for something bigger. He started building a platform for other artists to rise, positioning himself as a mentor, allowing his signees to learn and grow through their association with him. This was the early formation of Opium, his record label imprint that would cultivate talent under his guidance. The first to join Carti's vision was none other than Ken Carson. Ken, who had been part of 808 Mafia since 2015, was initially spotted with TM88 and archive footage. With producers Starboy and Out of Town collaborating alongside him, Ken honed the sound and image that would help him break through. His debut EP, Teen X, set the stage, with the original release dropping before Whole Lotta Red and the relapsed edition following afterward. Combining Carti's influence, the emerging rage sound, and a college party aesthetic, Teen X became the perfect launching pad. Ken continued to build his momentum throughout 2020, culminating in his first full-length mixtape, Project X, in 2021. Despite his second studio album, X, receiving mixed reviews the year after, Ken took the feedback in stride, refining his sound for his next project. 2023's A Great Chaos marked a turning point, highlighting his evolution as an artist and bringing together everything he had been experimenting with over the past few years. The album solidified his place in the new generation of rappers, with a rising trajectory that mirrors Carti's meteoric rise in the late 2010s. While Ken was developing his persona, Carti remained on the lookout for new talent and soon found another protege to take under his wing. In December 2020, Carti discovered Destroy Lonely after seeing the success of his music video for Oh Yeah. With a growing fanbase from his hit song Bane and the buzz surrounding his mixtape Broken Hearts, Lone caught the attention of one of the industry's most elusive figures. Carti even included Lone in the music video for the hit song Sky from Whole Lotta Red. Since then, Lone has emerged alongside Ken as one of the leaders of the new wave. His collaborations with Clayco have earned him a loyal fanbase, while newer tracks like Veteran with Ken Carson, No Stylist, and If Looks Could Kill have helped him gain a wider audience on platforms like TikTok. Despite criticism over his last two releases, ongoing beefs with fellow artists, and personal allegations, Lone's music continues to resonate with fans, and he remains poised to break into the upper echelons of hip-hop. Since the release of Whole Lotta Red, Carti has steadily built his reputation, rubbing shoulders with megastars on a regular basis. He's tiptoed the line of experimentation with mainstream appeal, and hasn't abandoned what made him so special. He shares a journey with many of the artists he now frequently collaborates with, like Future, Travis Scott, The Weeknd, and the man who executively produced WLR, Ye himself. By carefully playing his cards, Carti has now reached the stature of a hip-hop giant in his own right. While Carti and Travis Scott have been collaborating since 2017, it wasn't until recent years that they both achieved equal status, selling out massive stadiums worldwide. Artists like The Weeknd and Kanye West have long dominated the airwaves with forward-thinking, yet accessible music, and they now recognize a new face as their equal. Carti has bridged the gap between past legends and future innovators, solidifying his place among the greats. Carti doesn't just make music, he creates experiences, leaving breadcrumbs for his fans to follow and building an aura of mystery that feels almost mythical. The years of anticipation before Whole Lotta Red dropped only to reveal a chaotic, aggressive, and polarizing album was a testament to Carti's disruptive approach. He doesn't aim to please, he aims to challenge. What initially felt jarring has since been recognized as genius. His artistry isn't just about singles or albums, it's about the world he builds, the aesthetic, and the experience. From his vampire-like persona to the gothic visuals of his Opium label, Carti has evolved into an enigma, arguably to even greater heights than some of the artists he once admired. Once a rebel who defied industry standards with his sound, Carti has since earned the respect and support of industry giants, now standing shoulder to shoulder with those who dominate Grammy season. His influence on both music and fashion is undeniable, and it will continue to echo for years to come. While Carti is known for constantly pushing forward, refusing to settle in on one place, he's had his fair share of full-circle moments. Hugging Uzi at Rolling Loud in 2021 was a poignant moment, especially after the rumors of their falling out. He's also been in the studio with his once mentor A$AP Rocky, igniting buzz 2 years ago with a simple Instagram-exclusive collaboration called Sights. While both artists are expected to drop albums soon, fans are hoping for a feature, though nothing is confirmed yet. Even the bonds that many thought were beyond repair now appear to be mended. Uno the activist, who once swore off Carti for his perceived betrayal, recently announced that he and his long-lost friend had reconciled. For fans of the original SoundCloud era, this was a deeply emotional moment, providing closure after years of drama and debate. It's poetic that Uno was there for Carti during his first music video, and now, with their differences behind them, the two are reunited as Carti prepares to drop his biggest album to date. As controversial as Playboi Carti may be, there's no denying he's earned his place at the top and deserves the accolades that rest at his feet. In an era where many artists struggle to grow organically, Carti has done what so few can. He's created art that lasts. Many fail because of label interference or the bottom line affecting artistic integrity. Others fade when success hits too quickly, making them complacent. But Carti, he's one of the rare few who avoided these pitfalls, carving out a career that feels both timeless, no pun intended, and revolutionary. It wasn't just talent, it wasn't just charisma, it wasn't just connections or networking. Carti's secret was his urge to create something new, something that would leave a mark on hip-hop and beyond. His story is about reinvention, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of cultural immortality. He's proven that growth is not linear, and the path to greatness isn't easy, but necessary. Playboi Carti has proven that the evolution of an artist is often what makes their legacy enduring. So whether you miss the days of Die Lit, Self-Titled, or Cash Carti, it's important to understand that evolution is what has made those times feel like lightning in a bottle. Carti doesn't overstay his welcome. He has the courage to follow his own path, no matter the resistance. Through his belief in himself, what was once dismissed as weird is now the standard. His ever-changing list of producers, collaborators, and friends mirrors the constant evolution of his career, and the future of Carti's influence has only just begun. Growth is inevitable. You can't slow it down or stop it completely. All you can do is make room for it and appreciate the moments that define its journey. In the context of the story of Playboi Carti, this growth has resulted in a legacy of rebellion, reinvention, and risk. And in the end, that's what will make him unforgettable.